Hey guys, everybody in my heart-centered group. Hopefully this is working. I don't know if anybody is going to be able to pop on here live. I'm testing out a new setup. Apparently you can do Facebook Lives from your desktop computer now. So I am testing this out. So hopefully everybody can hear me. I think I have all the settings set up right. So we shall see. So I just wanted to pop in here and do a Facebook Live and talk about something that I saw in my news feed this morning, and it kind of made me laugh because it was so true, but also kind of ironic timing for myself because I was just thinking about this yesterday. And so I figured that if it was on my mind, it's likely on other people's minds too, so I wanted to hop in here and share with you guys, and hopefully it is helpful for you. So essentially it was a comic strip in my news feed, and it was this guy who was at the doctor, and he was like, "Hey doc, what can I do to make sure that I live a long life?" And the doctor's like, "Well, you could get started by, quit smoking, don't drink a ton of alcohol, move your body, and eat a balanced diet." And so he would come back and he's like, "Oh, but what can I do that really makes a difference? Like, antioxidants and this and that and all these other things." And she would say the same thing again, like, maybe you should stop smoking, and you should limit your alcohol, and you should move your body, and you should eat a balanced diet. And so it kind of went on and on. Like, he had 4 or 5 different things that he came back to her with, like, "Hey, what about this thing? And what about that thing? What about this awesome buzz thing?" And she just kept saying the same thing over and over again. And I think that this is a really important message for us because it's really easy to get caught up. The alternative health world has kind of gone a little bit insane over the last few years. I'm seeing all sorts of new, there's new gadgets, and there's all this biohacking and cryotherapy and all these things that you should hook up to your body in order to be your best self. And I have nothing against that. I think that stuff is great if that's what suits you, and if that's where you want to take your healing journey, and if it really benefits you. I am all about staying really open and experimenting with things and seeing what works for you. But I also want to caution people to not get super caught up in this, just all of the craze over all of the things that you can do to be healthy. Because I think it does a disservice to a lot of people. First of all, it's really, really overwhelming for a lot of people, especially those who may just be transitioning to real food now or natural living, or they're just they're in this transition period, and all of a sudden you start throwing stuff like biohacking to them, and they're just like, whoa. And then also, it's not very cost effective for a lot of people. Some of those therapies and some of the things that are promoted as super great ways to regain your health. I mean, some of that is really, really cost prohibitive for the average person. And so again, nothing against those things. If you have the finances and you have the desire and it really helps you, then by all means go for it. But let's not forget to come back to the basics. Let's always remember that the basics matter. And quite honestly, our foundation, the things that we do every single day, those are the things that truly, truly matter in the long term. If we don't have a foundation in place, then really the other things that we can add on really don't do a whole lot of good. So by the foundation, I mean, let's take a look at what we're putting in our mouths. Let's make sure that we're trying to nourish our bodies in ways that feel good, that works for our body, that really takes into account a lot of variety. I am really big about variety, and there's actually been some new research coming out. I'll have to see if I can find the post again, but there's some research showing that super restrictive, super limiting diets actually have a really negative effect on the microbiome. So I think that's a really fascinating area that we are going to be exploring more of in the future, and I'm really excited to see what research comes out about that. But that's why I'm all about variety, like getting a huge amount of fruits and vegetables into your diet, eating a wide variety of quality meats, and if you can tolerate dairy, having some dairy, and not shunning all of these different food groups, really figuring out what works for you, and then running with that, and then being open to tweaking that as you go through different life stages. Because that's another thing I see happen is, and this could be a whole separate Facebook Live video, is that we tend to get caught up in this idea that there's just one perfect diet for us for the rest of our lives. And that's not true. Our dietary needs are going to change from health season, from life season, even throughout the month, our nutritional needs will shift. I'll do a separate video about that because that's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. But so really keeping that foundation of nutrition there. That's, I mean, first and foremost, that's one of the best things that you can do for your health. And then the other basics that I like to kind of keep up here, I have like my cloud of basic stuff. So we've got nutrition, and then we have sleep. We cannot like emphasize enough the importance of sleep and making sure it's quality sleep and really making sleep a priority. We live in a sleep deprived culture. We live in just a go, go, go society, and it's really easy to kind of push sleep onto the back burner, but is absolutely critical to our long-term health, and especially to healing. If you've got any kind of chronic illness, sleep is going to be key. So we've got nutrition, we've got sleep. Another huge thing is the thoughts that you think every day. What's going on up here in your brain? Where's your mindset at? Where are the negative thoughts coming in? What's holding you back? What's making you feel bad about yourself? We don't emphasize enough in the alternative health world the importance of the mind-body connection. We really emphasize a lot of the body. We look at labs, we take blood work, we test our cortisol via saliva test. We do all of these things that are very physiologically driven, but we kind of neglect like what's going on up here. Where is our brain at in all of this? So the thoughts that you think are hugely important. And then the other foundational things, so we've got nutrition, we've got sleep, we've got the thoughts that you think, and another kind of pillar of that foundation should be mindful movement. So I really don't actually like the term exercise because I think it has a negative connotation for a lot of people. So I prefer to say just moving your body in a way that feels good and works for you. So especially if you've got any kind of chronic illness, movement over exercise is going to be key. So that might just mean taking a small walk up and down the block, or it might be going to a super gentle yoga class, or maybe just doing a little bit of rebounding. Things like running and heavy weight training and CrossFit, those might not be a good fit for you. So finding ways that you can move your body every day in a way that feels really good and doesn't leave you totally exhausted and fatigued and feeling just miserable. So that's really important. It is important that we get that movement in every day, but we need to do it in a very conscious way that serves our body. So I guess there's a ton of stuff I could really say about this, but I wanted to keep this relatively short, like under 10 minutes. So I'm coming up on 8 minutes now. But I wanted to just share that with you. For anybody who is on a healing journey or maybe even just starting out, it's really easy to get overwhelmed, especially with social media and with Google. Like, everybody's going to have their own opinion, and there's going to be always going to be these new things that we can do, and these new superfoods and these new supplements. And I refer back to biohacking. I don't really have a better term for it, I guess, but it's just like these really, really intensive things that you can do to kind of hack your body. So all of that is great, and it serves a purpose if it works for you. But if it doesn't, or it seems overwhelming or intimidating, then don't even worry about it. Focus on your foundation. Focus on your nutrition. Focus on your sleep. Focus on the thoughts that are going on up here. And focus on moving your body in a way that feels really good. And then the other stuff will fall into place. Like, once you have kind of those foundational things in place, then you can start like experimenting with other things. If you want to try some new herbs, or maybe you want to do like cryotherapy. I know there's a lot of people that are really into cryotherapy right now, and it's on my list to maybe try at some point in the future because I've read some pretty interesting information about it. But it's also really expensive, at least here in Denver. Like, it's just out of my budget for right now. But it's maybe something that I would consider in the future. But I'm not letting myself get caught up in it. And so this comic was really ironic timing because just yesterday afternoon, I was feeling really frustrated about my health. I was kind of feeling like I wasn't doing enough. I'm never doing enough. I'm never doing anything good enough. I could do more. I could be better. And so I kind of started feeling all this tension coming up in my chest and my stomach, and then my mind kind of goes crazy. And so I kind of like could calm myself down, but it was really funny that one of the first things I saw on Facebook this morning was this comic that was essentially doing everything I was doing. And it just, I don't know, it prompted this Facebook Live. So I really hope that this is helpful for you guys. I think there's a couple people who popped on. So if you want to leave me a comment or ask a question, pop that in the little chat box down below. I'm using this new computer-based format, so hopefully it's all working and you guys can hear me. But I'm going to sign off. If you have questions or ideas or anything about this that you want to share, please leave them down in the comments, and I'm happy to help. And your own experiences dealing with this kind of stuff can be so helpful to other people. So please, if you feel like you want to share and you're ready to open up about stuff, then leave comments, because I want to build this community and I want people to know it's a safe place where we can all learn from one another, because we all have things to teach and things to share. So leave a comment, and I'm going to hop off of here and go eat some lunch, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great afternoon and a great week if I don't talk to you again. I'll see you later. Bye.